thousands of people protesting. Many of them told me they had to come out and they had to do something.
So at the end of May, George Floyd was killed. The Black Lives Matter protests were happening.
I can't breathe.
Now Nashville gathers in the name of George Floyd.
Charlie Worsham got on the Opry stage.
Thank you, everybody tuning in to the Grand Ole Opry tonight.
And he talked about George Floyd. He talked about Breonna Taylor.
And I want to dedicate this song tonight to the families of Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and Rayshard Brooks, and everybody out there who is fighting the good fight for justice.
He was unapologetic about it, but he was also extremely passionate.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
I watched him and I cried.
Take these broken wings and learn to fly.
You know, in the midst of everything that's gone on this year, I'm curious to know, how do you talk to your kids about it?
You hear about it, you know, you talk to your daughters about it, but not the way you talk to your son. It was crazy to me. The day I realized I'm going to have to sit down and tell him, when the police officer comes to your car, keep your hands on the wheel, don't do anything until you know, you're giving that whole speech. Pounding his head, he's going, Dad, I get it. And you're going, dude, listen to what I'm saying. And that was scary to me.
That was, I feel like, a benefit of COVID. There was no distractions. There was no sports.
You had to deal with
concerts. So you're forced to see it and you're forced to deal with it. And you find out what type of person you are, whether you admit it or not.
Yeah.
Does this bother me or it doesn't? And you're forced to face it.
There were some artists that posted things and got attacked on both sides, and I happened to be one of those.
Yeah.
And for me, the change that I can make doesn't happen on social media. The real change happens around a kitchen table. The real change happens when you're hanging out with your buddy having a beer.
I know for a fact a lot of the music that I saw get released this year, it's going to be relevant 30 years from now, 40 years from now, because it was 2020, everything was happening like it was. I'll be able to remember when Black Like Me was sung.
If you think we live in the land of the free, you should try to be black like me.
First of all, I think it's so beautiful when I see country artists standing up for human rights, because it's not natural and normal for country artists to take those kinds of stands. Heaven Down Here, I wrote that song the day that I saw the George Floyd video. That video wrecked me. I have seen police brutality against my own husband with my own eyes. I've seen them say he's not a lawyer, that that's not his car, that that's not his house. I've seen that. And so watching that video, that was my husband on the ground. That was my dad on the ground. That was my brother on the ground.
This pandemic has reminded us how much we have to have each other. We can't get through these things on our own. And if that's why this happened, then so be it. Then that's what we need. And I think that's what we have to take from this. It's like, look at it square in the face and let's fix it.
Jimmy, I mean, that was perfectly said. It's like the blinders were ripped off.
Black Lives Matter. It's not profane to say that. You're not in a cult to say that. You're not a violent protester or aggravator by saying that. You are literally acknowledging that a group of people who are suffering matter.
Charlie, you wrote a great post about Mississippi that was just, I mean, I just wanted to get up and applaud you and come hug you when I wrote it. I thought it was beautiful.
Well, thank you. You know, look, I'm from Mississippi. For far too long, top left-hand corner of our state flag has been the Confederate flag. And, you know, I can't talk about the Confederate flag without talking about racism. The extreme majority of response was positive to that post, but some people took offense. The devil's greatest trick is making people believe he doesn't exist, right? And I think that's racism's greatest trick. Because if you can deny it, then you don't have to be culpable in your role in it.
I have to know, what is it like to work with Charlie Pride?
So this song is super special to me. I was able to do this song with two musical legends of mine, Mr. Charlie Pride and Mr. Darius Rucker. we can say we were the first ever time on recording when you had 3 black country artists together. Now, people might have it later, but we got to do it with the OG, with Charlie Pride. There's a joke I say Darius is like my dad in country and Charlie's like my grandfather. He's more like an uncle. Not a bad thing. More like an uncle.
He's that crazy uncle.
But it was epic. You know, Darius was laid back. You know? But I don't think... I don't think you understand what you mean to me. Like, you made it possible for a guy that didn't fit in a lot of places because the people that looked like me weren't into what I was into. And the people that was into what I was into didn't look like me. But you made it cool. And I want to thank you for having the courage to follow your heart and what you love doing, because you inspired a lot of people, man. And I honestly would not be here without you, without Charlie. And I want you to know I love you. I always will. And I'm super thankful for you.
This COVID thing's messing everything up.
I love you, man. They don't hug. That's
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.